fun as fuck. This is the personality we have, just showing on camera, you know?
Yeah, Kylie.
If you call me Kylie, I'm embarrassed.
Really?
All right, is my voice
You'll be
bad?
mad?
All right.
My foot in the camera?
Why? That's what I call you.
Let me know when we're good. Is that going? We all ready? Kyle, you ready?
Yes.
All right, got it. Hey, welcome back to the... I almost said Rotor Pro. That. Iron Bros, that's it. Hey, welcome back to the Iron Bros podcast. It has been a long time since we've last recorded, Kyle. About 4 weeks, I believe. And we're back again to bring another episode to you guys with a lot of things that have elapsed. So let's catch up. And as you can see, we have both of our beloved girlfriends next to us. So why not get to know our girlfriends and catch up with their own lives? How does that sound, Kyle?
It sounds fantastic. I'm glad you have energy to come back to life to have these podcasts.
The energy that I have to bring out of me, you know, being 4 weeks out and then 4.5 weeks out and then a week post show. So feels great.
I'm glad to hear it. But yes, we have two lovely guests with us today. So who wants to start?
Well, first let's start off with where are we? This isn't the gym.
They made a room for us.
Expansion at Iron. Look at that. That was a project and a half, and we actually invested into it. So, yeah, just kidding. Tell them what the hell it is.
So we've been talking about on, I think, maybe every episode for about 2 months.
It's here.
The house is finally here. So we're actually doing this podcast at the house, something different, we figured, and it's more intimate with our lovely girlfriends.
House. Fucking cool. Yeah. Very nice.
So, yes, we're in the breakfast nook area. So during the day, there's beautiful light. At night, you wouldn't really know, but you see the windows, so there is sunlight that does come in these windows.
Cool, dude. Yeah, no, at Kyle's house, you guys can't fully see it on camera, but, I mean, he's done a lot of renovations to this place, right?
Why? I didn't say it. He did.
What? I can't say that?
Alyssa's renovation.
Oh,
Alyssa's
sorry. I forgot. We're all couples here. So this is your house together.
Yep.
Alyssa's beautiful master plan.
Apparently.
And Kyle's helpfulness
I'm a
of
peasant. Yep.
picking shit out. You guys did a lovely job. I mean, exquisite.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of renovations for a month. Mm-hmm. Getting to the end for the insides, and then we'll have to do the landscaping and all of that fun stuff that makes the external look the part.
I got a question about the landscaping.
Oh, boy.
When I'm your age, something I'm looking forward to is driving a lawnmower. Are you going to be doing that?
Hell no.
Really? You're just going to pay someone? You have to take, like, the pride and glory of being a 30-year-old Jersey Guido in a white guinea tee, getting the tan lines, cutting your grass with your puppy.
That sounds good. I'll consider it. I have to be in a little bit better shape to do that, one. But two, the time. Time is so valuable. Yeah, so, I mean, as long as I find the right price, the price got to be right. I will have somebody come cut the lawn.
So my thing is, like, what if we invested in one? Because then I could sit in it and drive it.
Okay, you say that now, but we know damn well you aren't going to ever actually cut the grass.
You know what's...
If you bought me one of the ones that I can sit in and drive, I would cut the
I couldn't do that. They're too expensive.
They are a couple grand. And it's embarrassing on the husband/boyfriend's part if they're not cutting the grass and the girl is, I will say.
Yeah, how's that going to look for me?
You want to cut it?
I used to cut the grass when I was 12.
Did you do it for money? Was there money involved?
$20.
See? There's incentive. You want that to be your job?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pay you $10 a cut.
That's cheap, bro. I used to cut grass for my neighbor, and I would get $30.
How low do I live in? $10.
That's $10 more than you would have had?
That's below minimum wage.
You're right. It's like $15 now, minimum wage. We were talking, we were talking to Isaiah's brother.
Mm-hmm. Here's McDonald's, right?
McDonald's charges, they give you $15 an hour.
When I started, I remember being like, working like 9, I think.
Yeah, I think it was $7.50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I started making $7.25 when I first started.
Okay.
$7.50.
Sorry.
That was generous.
$7.25, but it's doubled. And
What was both of your first jobs? Let me guess you. Froyo spot.
Yeah.
Kyle?
you should know this.
Oh, shit. Your first, really? You told me?
I did.
Allie, what was your first?
I can kind of guess Kyle's because he grew up in the same area as me. I worked at the boardwalk at a pizza place.
What is she going to guess?
I want to say pizza place, but I know it's not that. Was it Lakewood Blue Claws?
No. My brother worked at Lakewood Blue Claws. Cotton Candy Boy.
Oh, so give us a hint of what you were. Mover?
A mover? I don't want to move anything now. You think I was a mover in the past?
Maybe you were, I don't know, more higher spirits when you were younger.
No, my first real job on the books, because I used to like help my dad clean, so I did like school maintenance. I was a janitor. But my first real job, I worked at a pool company. My aunt and uncle had a pool company, so I did.
You were a pool boy?
Service pools, yeah.
I forgot. I guess he told us when we were in Florida.
I
Probably
did. You just don't
boy.
listen because you don't care.
I listen to a lot of things.
Stories.
Oh yeah, we have plenty.
I have. Go ahead. You share yours, bro. I got crazy stories. My first job too.
That's the first time I ever smoked.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
You smoked on the job.
Grav bong. You ever heard of those?
Gravity bong. Yeah.
I didn't know. No. They use
grav bong.
So the 40-pound chlorine buckets. Okay. They're huge, and then they use like a water jug, like a 2-liter Coke.
Yep.
I didn't know what the hell it was. They were just like, "Oh, you got to do it, right?" So anyway, I do it. I immediately start coughing and I clap. I think I still have done it. Not that we've ever smoked together, but I have done it before, and I clapped. Right? I was like, "Right, whatever, cool." Maybe 10 minutes go by. Where we service pools, so we do like 20 and 25 a day, and you either sometimes just do chemical checks, or you just test the water, or you actually have to like vacuum it, clean it, do all those things. I was so phased by this bong that I had to wear sunglasses. My eyes were bloodshot, and I couldn't do anything. So my job for that pool, I would just scrub the skimmers, and I just sat there for 10 minutes scrubbing. And the customer was like, "What is he doing?" I couldn't talk. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they had told me afterwards, like, "Yeah, that like fucks anyone up."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Cool, thank you."
Experience ever?
Yes, it ruined me.
So you'd only smoke marijuana because of that?
No, I don't like ever doing that.
Oh, the grav bong.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was the last time I did one.
Wow, that's crazy.
But I think it conserves the usage.
I don't
Use
know.
less or something like that.
I've never tried it, so I'm not sure.
So-
But my first job was a lifeguard, and I smoked on the job before lifeguarding.
That's real helpful.
No, an adult community pool. Yeah, on like a rainy day when it was like chill.
So you're supposed to actually help people, but you were not.
It was raining, so like I decided, me and my buddy, we just did, and
So what would have happened though if somebody was in danger? Like, would you have been capable?
yeah, for sure. I was certified, bro. I was good. Yeah, that was good. What about you, Allie?
I don't have any crazy stories of my first job. I don't know. I served pizzas. There's drunk people there. It was the boardwalk.
They treated you badly, didn't they?
Oh, I had some people treating me badly, but I don't really like remember it. I just kind of, that job was a fever dream to me. I can't even believe that I did that.
And you were a chef?
Like you cook the pizzas?
Sometimes I was on the fryer. Oh, I didn't cook the pizzas. Sometimes I was on the fryer. I did get burned really badly one time. It was busy. The fryer popped. Somebody had the pizza oven open and just I had like a giant and then I just patched it up and kept working. It was busy. Couldn't take off.
Warrior.
Crazy.
Sometimes I'd make the cheesesteaks.
Really?
Imagine a 16-year-old girl making your cheesesteak.
Poor Allie.
What about froyo stories?
Froyo stories.
Yeah, well, what is a typical, like, when you do froyo, is it just like maintenance and like making sure everything's good?
So it was like right when the chain first opened. So it was like one of the first froyo spots like in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't even remember like why I started working there. It was like the cool thing in high school. All of like the girls that I went to school with worked there. It was open really late, I remember, and my mom would like freak out because when you were like put on the schedule, I think when you're like 18, you can only work until 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Why are you, Kyle? I swear to God.
No, he's not doing anything. We just locked eyes for like longer than usual, and like that hasn't happened in a minute. So I started laughing.
Anyway, so I think you're only allowed to work till 10 or something. This place was open till midnight.
So
So
you were breaking the
literally
child
just like
labor
at the
laws.
end of the night, there were only like 2 or 3 young 16, 17, 18-year-old girls like by themselves.
Yeah, I can see it.
So my mom would like sit in the parking lot and like
Aw.
right across the window and like watch me at night. People are just like slobs though. Like I remember like vividly, even if I was working like the cash register, people like spilling stuff, and like you're constantly coming out of the cash register to like put stuff away, and spoons are dropping, so you gotta replace the spoons. Like, it was just not it, but did the job, I guess.
Yeah.
For minimum wage.
I wonder what, like, because we went there after the show, which is something we can get into, but we went there. I wonder, like, what the profit margins of Froyo is, how, like, the weight goes. It's expensive, no?
It is, yeah. I don't know.
You don't know. We're not Froyo owners, but you work there.
I could imagine it's pretty expensive.
I would say that the most expensive part is the machines, probably.
Yeah.
The maintenance on them.
And the freezer, like, keeping it
That's
cold.
why I think some other Froyo spots have, like, barely any flavors, because there's only 3 machines, so they can only have, 3 flavors each machine, because 2 combined, right?
That makes sense.
Interesting.
So post-show, we went there, and I can safely say that that was the best Froyo spot in New Jersey I've ever been to, because New Jersey sucks with Froyo. It was so good. And I wasn't expecting to go. We walked into Tommy's, and then all of a sudden, listen, Ant was on this, like, food frenzy. I've never seen this out of Anthony before. We walk into Tommy's, and he's like, that's it. We're going to get Froyo. I was like, what? He goes, come on, let's go. So we all we're running. We're literally children running to get Froyo. And Ant is the first one in there. He already had a cup by the time I walked in. And he was going in getting every single flavor, but they had so many flavors. And I've never seen that many.
Him as number 2. Big man over here.
Bro, you guys got small portions. You guys didn't go crazy.
Because we had dinner right after it.
I know.
Mine was fairly sized.
Wow, yours was pretty big.
Mine was pretty good, man.
I wish, because, like, I chose every flavor, and, like, when you get every flavor, you're hitting other flavors as you're eating it. So it wasn't like, as good, but I enjoyed my time, and that was unbelievable. Yeah.
That was the appetizer before.
That was the appetizer. If you guys didn't see the show day video, it was Froyo, then Tommy's. And yeah, here we go. To start, I got is it a Reuben? What's it called? Reuben sandwich. That was the best thing I ate. A Reuben sandwich. Then I got some pizzas too. Yeah, no, I got the Reuben sandwich first. Then I got a pizza, chicken fingers and French fries, mac and cheese, which was the worst. I had a taquito, and then I had toffee cake dessert, and like a Kit Kat from the gas station, and like Diet Coke had me on a leash. I drank one, and I was like, my stomach, I was like, oh my God, I need more. Like, I'm thirsty. I drank like 7 Cokes that night, Diet Cokes. Why are you looking at me like that? And then I went to Wawa, and I got like the big gulp or whatever, 7-Eleven, but I got the
7-Eleven.
Yeah. And then I literally, you had to see, dude. I was in front of the machine. I'm taste testing every diet drink, and I'm like, no, I'm dumping it back out in the machine, like unsanitary. And I'm like, I'm just going to get Diet Coke. And then I walked out with Diet Coke and a Kit Kat.
So what's your guys' POV? Like, you saw Anthony, right?
Yeah.
What was your thought as a coach and just as somebody viewing him?
Oh, shit, or
Coach
always
show.
having fun?
You go first.
I mean, the reality is like when I met you guys, I was like brought into this as like, these are them, like the bodybuilders, right? And like all of my encounters with you guys, even like when you're not on prep, it's like you're like very good with food versus like us, like I'll speak for us. Like we're fat fucks, you know? Like we love food.
Think so?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, no,
Kyle.
we love food. Like we are foodies.
Okay, you guys do go like out to dinner a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Offended, bro?
Anyway.
Embrace it.
But like,
Once a week? But that adds up to my once a year.
right.
Yeah.
Really. So I don't like, you guys are not the types that are like big food. Like you're like a froyo or you're like a, you know, like you don't binge out on food,
You
right?
could say that was a binge.
So like when I witnessed this, I was like inner me is like clapping because I'm like, this is like what it's like to be a human. Like, hello, welcome. You know. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Cool.
I think you need that.
I agree.
You know.
Yeah.
Kyle, let's hear your POV, your perspective, coach.
First of all, my cheat meals are hefty. not approved.
What'd you get on Sunday?
Big Macs.
This past Sunday,
Yeah.
we went to Strickland Steakhouse in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Fantastic.
Awesome place.
We got, it's called the
Bankers board.
Banker's Board. Yes.
Sounds expensive.
$570.
But tell them what you got.
You split it with a couple people.
Okay.
Usually 5 to 6. We did 3.
So you two and one other?
It was me, Eric, and Josh.
Oh, okay. So 3 guys.
3 guys. Yeah. Yes. It was his birthday. So it comes with a tomahawk steak, which we upgraded to be the Wagyu. And then it comes with a ribeye. Right? So 2 50-ounce steaks. And then 4 sides. So like mac and cheese. We picked Brussels sprouts because we wanted some greens.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, some golden mashed potatoes. And then French fries.
Potatoes, wow.
And that was the entree. So then for appetizers, they have like a really good Caesar salad. We got some bacon wrapped scallops,
Jeez, this is an appetizer.
calamari, and meatballs.
So you go this crazy once a week?
Yeah.
All right, so go to talk about me now, Poach.
So anyway, my point of view, I guess. So I look back at how you've been, right? So we have the first show you ever did. Back in our adolescent days, I guess at this point, it's been so long. I remember you gained 25 pounds in 3 days, kind of went off the rails. But ironically, if you look back, I'd say you consumed a good amount of food this time post-show, but it was just in a shorter duration, a shorter time block, right? Versus last time, it was just a continued eating for 72 hours that yielded that wonderful 25-pound gain. So this time, it was just more of, do I think it's going to be harmful, right? Was there any diuretics used? No. Did we really do anything with water manipulation? No. So from a rebounding perspective, I wasn't really concerned. It was just an influx of carbohydrates, added fats. Worst case, okay, I'm going to have to like keep him low on carbs for 2 days and reset. Best case, he's a few pounds up and he's happy, right? So I think the psychological benefits, seeing that you were actually happy, and I'm not saying you're a miserable person going into shows. I've seen people that are very angry sometimes. It seems like they shut off everything in their life, and it's just like the show matters. And it doesn't matter if it's a regional, if it's a national show, God help them. But in your case, we know it was just like stepping stone. We kind of went in there expecting to win, right? So wasn't any groundbreaking news there, but you had an overwhelming support there. It was a venue that kind of hits home to you. It was your first show ever. You always perform well there. And again, it's a building block and everything. So seeing that you were going to be happy, I valued that more than, hey, I think he's binging. Is it good what you did? No, it was probably more food than necessary, but I knew it wasn't going to be harmful. You know what I'm saying? And again, factor remains, were there any kind of supplements used that would make things a health risk? That's a different story, but there's not. In some cases, for some people, if they're dieting really, really hard and there's heavy diuretic usage, yeah, there could be some issues, right? You're young, you have no blood pressure issues. We don't really use things that are going to create those types of issues. So wasn't really worried. And then for Allie, she, similar state to you, but she's more mature in the sense of like, just from a female perspective, typically they're more mature, I guess, right? But in her sense, again, similar, she doesn't really, I'm not worried. She's a girl. I've never seen a girl really overeat.
Yeah.
It's more of the, I eat every day. That's what becomes the problem versus I eat a meal. When she's going to eat, her stomach's going to be full. She's going to go to sleep, and that's really going to be it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the related things I think you should weigh out post-show. Yeah. And then also, I think I touched on it previously. Leading into shows, I always know the clients, and even if they're not my clients, the people that are going to have a hard time, regardless if there's no show planned or not, because they typically post a lot of food-related things to their stories. They're telling people about it. They'll tell me about it. I don't give a fuck what you're going to eat post-show. Like, cool. You know, people are like, oh, what do you think of it? I think it's stupid. It's a fucking donut. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing special. But in your case, like I said, I don't see those stuff. You know, I hear through the grapevine you were looking at some foods, but that was about it. She was the grapevine.
What'd you expose, Allie?
I just expose. I'm like, Kyle, Anthony's watching YouTube videos of food and chefs. I was like, he never does this.
I didn't do every prep I have typically towards the end because like I usually get just so bored, and what's one thing I can't really indulge in is food. So I'm like, let me just watch it. I'm not watching like mukbangs. I was watching like best diners, which we found the spot to go to. So I was just watching like, you know, nice food videos. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't participate in the morning after. So how did you eat the morning after?
You guys were invited.
Can I tell?
Yeah, you tell.
So, from my POV, right, Anthony went hard the night before. He was like, can I go to Wawa? And I was like, I don't think you need it, but if you really want to go, go.
And then I went.
And then he went. So then the next morning, I woke up, felt pretty good. I was like, yay, all right, I'm excited to go to the diner. I've been wanting a waffle with berries for so long. That's really all that I wanted. And I was excited to see this diner. Okay, we get there. Anthony opens up the menu. He goes, oh, I just need chicken fingers again. Oh, my God, disco fries. What sandwich do I want? Look at the cheesecakes. And I was like, in my head, I was like, this kid's crazy. I was like, I actually haven't seen him like this in I don't know how long. Because in our off season, he doesn't crave sweets ever. Or so he says he doesn't crave sweets until we take an edible and randomly he eats a chocolate bar and it's the best thing ever. But he doesn't crave sweets. I'm always getting ice cream by myself because you know what? If I'm in an off season, I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it because it's life and life's too short. And I'm going to get dessert. He won't even take bites of dessert when we go out to eat.
But maybe there's a reason why.
Because there's no nutritional value. That's the reason.
It might open the door to hell, you know?
Oh, okay.
Well, if I'm this, because I'm so controlled where I never indulge in it. Like, I'll indulge in it after, like, a show victory, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm back on track. I won't go again, you know? Yeah. Even, like, holidays, like, I'll try, like, typically no dessert.
Yeah, no, he won't. Like, I force him to try desserts that I make.
So what made you this time want it?
What made me want it?
Yeah, because even you got dessert at Tommy's, too, right?
Yeah, because I could, and
left that part out.
Yeah, no, I said the toffee cake. I did. Oh, I knew I could, and I knew I have more than enough time to get in shape for the next show, and I was just enjoying it. You were just
craving that type of treat, I guess.
I was going till my stomach was gonna explode, dude. That was pretty much it. I was going till I couldn't move.
It wasn't so much you craving; it was more just knowing that you could.
Yeah, I'm not like sitting here like with my taste buds dripping of like I want this. It was like I could do this, so screw it. I want to try the taquito, the chicken finger, just a little bit of everything, and then
Do you feel restricted?
No. Restricted in my diet?
Yeah, am I too restricted?
No. I'm chill with it. Like, I love my food right now, dude. The tilapia and rice and sriracha. Gosh, I wish I could have avocado with that. It'd be the best. But that's my favorite meal. What's that? Rest days. Or I switched my pre-meal. Instead of almond butter, I do avocado. That's okay. It's the same shit.
Executive decision.
Because you know, you know what? Just being as a good client, I've compared it to previous diets you give me, and you say 20 grams of almonds or 70 grams of avocado. So I'm like, oh, this is the equivalent of fats. Okay, let me just remember this, and then I'll just substitute it here. That's it. Smart. That's smart.
And the day before.
Executive decisions.
Until I get Nick Walker, he got a blood test for food, and he found out he couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't eat almond butter. So maybe I'm actually doing a good thing. Maybe I'm the same thing as Nick Walker. Can't have almond butter, but avocados work well.
No, it's good to get a food sensitivity test at the same time. Sometimes you start to see responses of why you're feeling a certain way, or your skin starts to react for some people. Like I mentioned, I had a client compete yesterday. We definitely need to do a food sensitivity test because there's some kind of dysbiosis present.
What happened?
The lower abdominal area, often when you see that, especially if you're lean, that's a sign that there's some type of issue, right? Sometimes it's just, you have to, if you have enough time, that's what you would do if you don't have, some people can't afford the test, can't have access to it, whatnot. What you would do is start to assess, almost meal by meal over the course of a day, is this stemming from maybe fats, right? If the answer is yes, okay, pull them out. And you could know right away because maybe the meal is just like a protein carb meal. Did the look improve? We had done that after post prejudging. We did that as opposed to just like, protein, fats, carbs, whatever we were doing leading up. Distension went down a little bit. It was still present. Ultimately, it wasn't going to be enough time to fix that. But looking back, the fat sources we were constantly using, he was always using a lot of nuts, occasional avocado and whole eggs. So one of those trios are probably creating an issue, or there's an allergy to something else, whether it's some people have like a chicken allergy over time, something like that. So that's something we'll look into. But sometimes just because you don't have those crazy reactions like hives or something doesn't mean you're not allergic to something.
Gotcha. I saw it in the video we were just watching before. I was about to mention is like the lower abdominal region just looks like You got the little balloon in there.
Pouch.
Pouch, yeah.
Like a kangaroo pouch.
Yeah. Did you ever finish what we ate at Tops?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So I got a waffle with berries, 2 eggs, and turkey bacon. We all split disco fries right before it. Anthony got like 2 or 3 lattes. I got like a cold brew coffee. Then Anthony also got chicken fingers. He also got a turkey club. I want to
finishing this, are you?
No, he wasn't finished. No, like the
like
disco
bite?
fries, there was so much left of it. And
I
stuff,
wish
but-
so. Okay. Unfortunately, they gave us like everything at once. So when the disco fries came out, like, and then 3 minutes later, everything else came out. So we couldn't finish and enjoy the disco fries, which came with the chicken fingers. Chicken fingers, banging. I use it to dip in the gravy that I got with it.
Yeah. Good.
Love that. Turkey club, devoured it. Then I got French toast with chicken tenders on it again, and
Wait. French toast with chicken fingers on it?
big chicken finger guy over here, but with hot honey. With hot honey.
And they serve it like that? Like with a topping?
Yeah. Kind of like chicken and waffles, yeah. And then then we got a cheesecake.
Which I will say, I actually was pushing for the cheesecake because they were house made and I haven't had a cheesecake in so long.
Ooh, that shit was
And it was
good.
a dulce de leche cheesecake, so it was like really good.
And then I had some of Hannah's chocolate chip pancake.
How's that?
Really good.
I like thick
I
pancakes.
wish, no, it was like thin. I love thin. I wish I ate more of the pancakes, honestly. If I could do anything going back, I would get rid of my French toast and get chocolate chip pancakes and a lot of butter. But anyways, that's for another time because I'm on the VIP list now at Tops because I met a busboy there who knew me and he's like, put me on the VIP list. Yeah, so
What is the VIP list?
I can get a table anytime. I can just walk in and table.
Whoa.
Kind of cool. Kind of cool.
To know.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah, it's 4 miles from Newark Airport, so when we get back, we'll be going.
Now I wanted to ask you a question about show day. What's that look for?
Nothing, go ahead.
How did you think like the peaks went on your end, and did you have any errors or complications on your end that obviously you kept to yourself, and then try to make it smooth sailing? For both me and Allie.
Who do you want me to start with?
Allison.
Allison Prince, okay.
She did wake up later than typical.
Yeah, so leading up into that week, generally, like I said, in a perfect world, I get someone to the shape they want to be 2 weeks out. And then that last week, the weekend, I kind of start to time it where, depending what we're doing with nutrients, right, I start to see what look is the best, right? So if I'm giving someone higher food, regardless, without getting specific with macros, how do they look the next day, right? If I do it 2 days in a row, how do they look that third day? Maybe on the third day, let's just say they're a little watery. I'll cut the food back to the base diet or maybe zero it. How do they look that fourth day? What look do I like the best? At what time? At what weight? Factor that in moving forward. I try to replicate that. Now, in some instances, right, when someone's metabolism is picking up by doing that, because ultimately, as you prep, you downregulate your metabolism. So when you start to give it more food for some people, it kind of creates like a furnace effect. So you start to burn through things very rapidly, right? So in her case, I think starting on that Monday, your base diet, we already started to increase food a little bit. And every single day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were increasing food. And you were just dropping a lot more than I would have guessed if I wrote on a piece of paper, right? So going into the show, my main thing was you had the look again. It wasn't more so was I worried that you were going to lose. There was a moment in which I thought, shit, I didn't bring the look we were supposed to bring, and I was a little frightened. It wasn't worried they weren't going to qualify, but if you didn't get the overall, I would have kind of been a little annoyed, I feel. But the main thing, I guess, knowing where we had you, if I'm worried about not having you too watery, I need to have you a little bit tighter, and then I can push food heavier. And now I know what happens generally if I push you leading into the prior weekend. I only give you 2 days of high food, and I don't establish a new baseline that's a bit higher. I know you're going to kind of start to pick up and burn through it. So I feel, as we discussed, you could have had a fuller look, right? And I was worried that you were going to be a little too watery and soft and too soft. And just so everyone is aware, Miss Allison she's got the physique where she can be pretty hard if she flexes things. So she works on like almost not flexing. But if you put water on anybody's frame, now the look isn't exactly what we wanted. So our main thing is we look back. It was good enough to win, which we expected, but it wouldn't be good enough to win at juniors. I know that, you know. So now it's just a matter of, you know, we can discuss what we're going to do moving forward. But that's the assessment I would give, you know. I feel like she could have been a little bit better for sure. And then also timing-wise, I feel like I have the guys timing down perfectly. Girls are always weird in the sense that sometimes there's like the fitness division, then there's like women's physique. There wasn't like any women's physique at this show. They ran through, after Classic was done, men's physique went super fast. And then I had intended on you being on stage 30 minutes. 30 minutes turned into like an hour and 25 minutes. So that definitely didn't help measures as far as getting to it. And then they make everyone stand backstage the whole time. So I was just like, it's not the look I wanted. Yes, it's a level playing field when it comes to that, but that played a role. I should have gave you more food probably when you're sitting back there standing. Generally, I like people to sit down, but they kind of get on us.
They make you stand. Like
Yeah.
they were like, they tell the girls, we just kind of get pushed to the back. They tell everybody to line up. And I was actually stuck standing there for so long. And they didn't put me in line until randomly they were just like, oh, you're right here and you're up next. And I was like, what? I just remember standing backstage. I was like, okay, now I didn't even really finish pumping up because I stopped for a while because I was just standing here in the back twiddling my thumbs. Yeah, and then all of a sudden I was just like, whoa, oh, okay, I'm up. And then they're like, oh, you're the only one doing your routine right now. And then that made me be like, what? And then like I was like, okay, so where do I go after that? They're like, just stay there. And I was like, I just felt like I had like no sense of direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like the diet and everything like that during the week, I was surprised that my body was ripping through food like that. And I still feel like my body is ripping through food like that. Like I've never been more hungry right now. I usually like on prep, I'm not like a baby. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm hungry. But now I stay busy throughout the day and I'm just like, damn, I'm hungry. Like this is so weird. Granted, I was just sick, so I was resting for a few days. That's why I sound like this. But I don't know. It was crazy. It was still a really good show. I'm still glad. I'm still happy with how I looked. I improved so much over the years. But I love that we got to do that show, and I'm grateful for how I could see where to improve now for the next show. Yeah. But, yeah.
So I had a question from like a coaching standpoint, right? You said she was ripping through food that whole week as you were increasing her food, and then she still woke up on show day the lightest. So if you notice that, would you then go just giving her more clean carbs, or would you then go something like denser, like a cheesecake that some people do, or like the junk foods?
So I feel like generally people, there's like a generalized plan. People do like pancakes in the morning, things you never did.
That's what Sadiq said to me in the morning, right?
Yeah. So it's like, if you do that and you know you respond to it, cool. By all means, do your thing. But most of the time, why would I introduce a food that we've never, right? We've never done it before. It's like, why go for this home run when there's like, you get 10% better or 70% worse, and there's a problem, right? And you're distended and don't feel right. Now you're mentally going crazy. So in her case, I just needed to increase her overall calories and then lower output. I think the one day also, I know how your mind works more so, and I also have another outlet to ask, like, hey, you know, how's she doing? So I think I just gave you like a step count, right? As opposed to doing any specific cardio, because I know you would stay active, but if I had you do the cardio and then you still got the step count, I knew it would be too much. So I could have just lowered the output there, which would decrease the expenditure, right? But I would just increase her food more, right? I had to be more aggressive with that and not be afraid of what's going to happen. And
is there a cap you ever have of like carbs in a meal? Because I've never seen you give more than like 150.
Depends what source, but generally like 150 grams of carbs in a meal without utilizing stuff to help absorption. I think that's generally pretty good, right? Yeah. So usually you'll see, I don't think anyone really goes over that. You know, if you have a free meal or something, then I guess you're pumping more. But if you think about what you're naming the food you really were eating, they're higher in fat. Fat is what tastes pretty good, not necessarily carbs, you know? So that's the main thing there. What did you say? Sweet potatoes, they smack.
No, me.
Now for you, so what we wanted a fuller look. At least I know that was something that would bring out the best in you in terms of going for the bodybuilding and things like that. As far as where I thought you would land, you wanted it being 2 pounds more than I thought, right? Now, again, different from other preps to where there might have been some diuretic usage to a degree. a lot more water manipulation. I kind of had the approach for both of you, especially for you. I just said today's just a training day, but the gym is now the stage, right? Don't do anything different. I know that's kind of hard to think of, but I didn't want anything to be different. Just literally, you guys are waking up. It's a normal Saturday. This is how we're going about our day. For you, I think the biggest thing was because we didn't play with water, it was weird. You usually were losing 7 to 8 pounds overnight. Yeah. So I'm usually very precise with where I think you'll be. And I think I had told you as well. I thought like 198 was where I thought you'd be like light heavy. Because I knew you were doing bodybuilding. And then when you woke up that morning, you were at 200. And I'm like, okay, in my head, like, maybe he didn't use the bathroom yet. And you're like, I was sent to the bathroom. I'm like,
twice. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Like, yeah, we're not going to make 198. But it was whatever, you know?
I wonder if that was because I started, like, controlling the water a little bit.
We didn't probably give you enough water. We started, and we didn't control it strong enough, early enough to where I would have to, like, induce more of it coming out.
Gotcha.
So I think for you, where we could have been better, measuring water every day leading into a show, I was more nonchalant about it. I should have been, hey, are you at 6 liters today? What exactly are you at? Right? Including any type of coffee, things like that. And then I think for you as well, going with the look we wanted, you were definitely fuller, right? For sure, fuller than ever. You were 200 pounds on stage, which is pretty impressive, being that not too long ago you were 170 something on stage, right? I think going into that night show, you were still holding weight, but you didn't have the look exactly. And I know perhaps you didn't digest that last meal we gave you, because we started feeding you even more. Like this one, we got some feedback to feed you more. If you remember, we were in the room, I think prejudging, or the finals was at 6 p.m. I giving you a meal at 3:30. I think we gave you another meal at 5 and then another meal at 6. We started like pushing a lot more than usual. I don't know if you picked up on that, but that's because I was like, I don't like the look here. What's going on? Let me give him a little more food. But at that point, you can't overdo it. The body takes time. And sometimes, like I said, if the weight was there, usually it's like a water thing. Yeah. But the tricky thing was because we didn't manipulate water or use anything to induce water coming out, no diuretic usage at all. That's where I would have expected things to be consistent, where you were losing the 7 or 8 pounds, and all of a sudden that final night you lost 3 pounds. Something like that. You didn't lose much at all.
No, I was losing like 8 pounds a night, and I lost maybe like 5.
You were 3 pounds off where you're supposed to be. Yeah. So that was about it, really. And then obviously it's a lot of posing. You did every division possible.
Why not?
So yeah, that's always something to factor in, because it's not like trying to peak for like the one thing. It's just more of like, hey man, like do your thing, conserve your energy a little bit, because you got to go do this again. Yeah. And again. Yeah. And then that was it.
One more time. Yeah.
So
that definitely made the nighttime look not as popping.
Perhaps, yeah, for sure. So the main thing, honestly, I could have had you tighter. Yeah. I just didn't want your weight rapidly coming down and then being uncertain with where to go from there. So, you know, the leaner you could have somebody, the more you can kind of give them food and not it's more margin for error, right? Or less margin of error.
Understood.
Because I can push more food and they're peeled. They're just going to maybe look a little fuller, and then if I spill them, okay, let me fix that. Yeah. Right? Versus when you don't have the conditioning we need, full is not necessarily better, because now you have it blurs your lines, right? So it's just playing to the look. And then again, you're doing 3 divisions, so the look is a little bit different. So, but yeah, overall, I mean, you won bodybuilding class, which was great. Didn't expect you to win overall for bodybuilding, because you were doing classic. And again, if I was a judge, right, we put ourselves on the other perspective for a second, or even behind the camera perspective. How can you win everything? It doesn't really make sense. It wouldn't. Not only is it not fair, you know, it's also like, what is the look we're looking for? So, yeah, that was that. And then you won classic. I don't think there was really competition for it. So I was hoping there was a little bit more to kind of push you a little bit, you know. And then that was that.
So now, kind of a shift of topic, but not really. And I want Alyssa to answer this first. So,
bombs away.
We've kind of talked about this in the past, and I'm curious to see like your full perspective on how we prep together, how we bodybuild together, and how we pretty much do the same thing. It's not very common to do, not at all, and it's very difficult to do. So What is your perspective on it, your opinion on it, whatever you have to say about it?
Where does one start? First and foremost, I commend the both of you. What are you doing, man?
Oh my God.
Wafting.
What's wafting?
He farted.
Giving her the air.
Your son, I swear. It's
I
crazy.
used to be his son. I got put up for adoption, bro.
No, you are one and the same. It's actually scary. Anyway, I commend the both of you, truly. Not only for being as dedicated as you are to this sport, but being able to find that line of remaining true to each other while chasing your own individual goals. I think it's super important, and we've had this talk many times before. I guess now at 29, scary. I look back at like the last decade of my own life. Obviously, bodybuilding, a huge part of that. And rewinding a little bit, when you experience certain things, relationships being one of them, and you try to pursue this sport, I had always told myself like it was super important to find somebody like-minded, which brings me to like why doctors usually end up with doctors or nurses, right? It's like you find someone who understands you and what you do. So naturally, you would think bodybuilder is like a great thing, when in reality, not so much. So again, it gets very difficult to live this kind of life and to maintain a healthy relationship, right? There's so many things going on. And for those that aren't really a part of this world, not only is a relationship super difficult, but then trying to find the balance between the hormones and the lack of food, and it's craziness. So I think the two of you have done exceptionally well. Based on the last year alone, I think your growth individually is absolutely crazy. Kyle. Oh, every time you smile,
I just gotta smile.
I'm like, what are you doing behind my head? So I think the both of you have grown substantially individually. And together now, I know we've talked for months about this, but I told you from the start how important it was going to be to, in the nicest way possible, don't rely on each other, right? Like, you have to learn your own schedule. You have to learn, like, at the end of the day, I love you, right? Like, I want to be with you. I want what's best for you. But at the same time, like, I need to focus on my own shit, right? So now it's like you guys have figured out your own schedule. You guys do a lot, like, separate, believe it or not, right? Contrary to, like, common belief would be, oh, they live together, they cook together. The reality is you don't.
It's very
right?
true. Yeah.
So I think the two of you have learned now, after the experience, you've learned each other, and you learn what works best for not only yourselves, but for each other, you know? So I think at this point, like, aside from your age, you guys are super, super young. I just think, like, you cracked the code. And I think as parents, we couldn't be any more proud of you guys, truly.
Thank you. It's definitely, prep has been, like, tricky. I will say it has been tricky. Like, it's not easy. It might not be as picture perfect as it may seem online, or as even maybe you guys even see it. Like, there's for sure times where we do struggle in the sense of, like, sometimes it's hard to communicate. When you're tired and you're hungry, you can't communicate the same way that you could, in the nicest way that you could, if you had a full stomach. Right. If your hormones were completely balanced, because again, all of these factors play a role in it.
Right.
And it takes a lot out of you as a person to, like, realize that and sit there and accept it and live with it. But at the same time, I'm very understanding, and vice versa, of, okay, I know that you need to focus on yourself here, but sometimes it may be like, I just need like a little bit, like a little hug, like a little bit of affection. Right. But I understand that it's hard. And he understands the same thing. Why are you smiling?
I'm just, I'm listening and agreeing.
It is hard. And I do have like my own schedule. I do work. He has his own schedule. He does his work. And we found like that good balance to where I don't have to drive with him to the gym every single day. I drive by myself every day. I don't have to eat every single meal with him. I eat meals when I do, but we do. What are you laughing?
There's a bug flying around, and Grant like
He
almost.
almost karate chopped it. It was wonderful. Sorry.
The Karate Kid chopsticks. Is that like? Is that what he did with the fly?
He's just like, yeah.
But yeah, we have found like a good balance of like, okay, like I'll help you cook your food and stuff like that, but like here's our schedules and leave it at that.
Respect
we do
each
wake
other's
up together
boundaries.
every single day because it's just easier when we're both going to do cardio at the same time. We don't wake each other up, and we take check-ins at the same time. We try to go to sleep at the same time just because we get the same amount of sleep per night.
Right.
But yeah, we do have separate schedules, and it is hard sometimes mentally to be like, damn, it doesn't feel like it used to in the off season. But then you realize that there's so many factors that play into it, and it does take a special person to date a bodybuilder. Whether you are one yourself or you're not, it does take a special person and a lot of patience and a lot of understanding and a lot of accepting.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But you should never accept somebody that displays just truly toxic behaviors, which he doesn't.
Right.
Because there are people, bodybuilder or not, that are just very toxic, and it's not always an excuse, but bodybuilding is like this special little area.
Yeah, I agree.
Killed it. Can we take a little intermission to eat a meal? Is that okay? Can we pause it for a quick sec, and then we could eat?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you, Kyle? Thanks. We'll be right back.
And we're action.
Welcome back. We finished our meals. I had tilapia and rice. Ali had salmon and asparagus. Thanks, Coach. They were delicious. We love you for it. Kidding. I take it back.
You got to use his hot sauce.
The hot sauce was really good.
Wasn't it good?
It was good. I did enjoy it. We will actually put it as a plug. Shout out to Diablo Filipino hot sauce with a punch. 10 calories per serving. It was great. Green hot sauce. We love it here. But we have our girlfriends here, so I thought it'd be cool to do the pet peeve question. We're going to ask our significant others what are the biggest pet peeves that we provide.
Okay. Well, coming out strong. My biggest pet peeve is it's been a slightly better recently because prep diet is prep diet. But the farting, I don't think you guys understand, okay? We're going to reel it back to where the real farting started really quick. You guys might have heard this story. We were on a flight to Miami after our last show, and Anthony was on his raw milk diet, had just started, okay? And then we had a bunch of potatoes that he decided to cook, 1,000 grams.
I was loading up for Miami, bro. Hard load.
So we're boarding this flight, and he's eating 1,000 grams of potatoes. And we get onto the flight. Now, flight to Miami is like 2.5 hours, 3 hours from here. And I'm not joking. I've never smelled worse farts in my life. They were consistent, too. It just kept happening, and they kept coming and coming. I look over to the guy across the aisle with his sweatshirt covering his face like this. And he was rocking back and forth like the whole flight. That's how bad it smelled. And we had to keep a straight face. But anyway, that's where it started. I cannot stand, like today, like we were in the kitchen and I was making a meal before we came here and he just like ripped a nasty one. And I just was like, oh.
That's crazy.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, Lisa, you're up. Go ahead.
I have to piggyback off this. Oh my god! So we're on a new roll now, okay?
Okay.
And I shouldn't even say this because I don't want him to start doing it, but like I need to just say it, bro. The farts. Okay, it's like a plumbing issue, right? I say that all the time. Like your plumbing is not right.
His lips quivering.
Okay, so originally it's progressed now. It's come in phases. It's just now it's to a point where so bad that it's the fart, but like I now know it's coming because he'll start wafting before he farts.
Get the circuit going, bro.
So like literally I'm like standing and like he'll be next to me and I'll just see this and I'm like, no, and he'll go. I'm like, are you serious?
That's awesome.
So it's like he creates this fan. It's just, it's not.
See, I don't get the fan. I just get the leg up typically, maybe. Yeah, and then the brace.
No, you don't?
No.
Say you swear.
I don't use much of my leg.
Right. You do. Your legs work.
Okay, Anthony. Oh,
You're up. You go first.
I can guess it. I know it's me.
I have a couple, but we'll stick with,
Air it out.
we'll stick with one.
No. Oh.
My biggest pet peeve is you've been a bit better with it, but you're so slow sometimes, especially in the morning. She wakes up, I wake up, bro, my alarm goes off, I'm up, I open up the blinds, I look outside, I'm like, all right, day's starting, let me get all my shit done. Her, lays in there for 20 minutes, her head's like, she's a zombie. And then what does she do to wake up? Opens TikTok. Watches TikTok to wake up. And then you haven't, that's why I said you haven't been a little bit lately, but typically if we weren't in prep, probably it's TikTok. And then, I'm waiting for her to help me with something in the morning. And it takes about like 20 minutes of me sitting there waiting for Allie to finish her routine until we go.
Okay, that was one of them I thought it was going to be. Can you say the other ones now?
Which ones do you have in mind?
Say it.
I'm trying to think.
Maybe it's not a pet peeve anymore. That'd be nice.
Was it a pet peeve I told you about?
Of so many times.
All right, you say it from the horse's mouth.
I'm forgetful.
Oh yeah, big time, bro. Big time. And it's like so this is the straight up pet peeve. This is where I'll end it. Love you to death. Great girl. Awesome. But with who I am, I'm pretty good with being observant and like street smart. I have that behind me. You have the book smart, but you're far from street smart in a lot of occasions. And that's basically it.
I know.
I love you.
I know. I'm very ditzy, and growing up, my mom always told me that I was very ditzy. Come to find out, I love you, Mom. My mom is ditzy, like just as bad as me. So
My mom's got the street smarts. That's where I get it from.
Like your mom, you know?
She grew up in Brooklyn. Yeah. All right, Kyle. Last but not least.
What's going to come out of your mouth?
Your morning routine is fucking awful.
Oh God.
You're slow.
Okay.
I never thought I met someone slower than me, but then I met you, babe. And you make me slower.
Yes, I'd always show up late too. From you.
You're
for a
slow,
little-
mama. You don't agree? No. Okay.
Okay, no.
Another one. Okay, pet peeve.
Oh, I know one.
What do you know of?
One that you could say. Because sometimes I forget and then I'm like, okay, so we've established many moons ago our roles, right? You know where I'm going with this? Oh, okay.
The rolls.
I have this thing with wet, soggy food that I can't, like, I don't like washing dishes. Like, there's, like, I don't know what it may be, like, gloves or something. Like, I don't know. But since the beginning of time, you have done the dishes. I am very negligent at times because he asks me when I finish a shake or I finish my food, like, put water in the bowl so that it's not, like, okay. There's just times where I'm just like, okay, like, in the sink, right? And then I'll hear, oh, my God, how many times are you going to not put water in your shit? And I'm like, oh.
Actually,
right?
Actually, same thing here with him. Because
I've been better.
He's been better, but we eat frozen blueberries and stuff like that. And, like, the bowl has been, like, stained from it. Like, it stains. And then cream of rice. Yep, gets rock hard in the bowl. Oatmeal, rock hard. If you don't put water in it.
Yep. Can't do it.
So I think if you don't wash dishes, you don't understand. But going back to our Florida days, you know, I don't like dishes in the sink. And you think it's like a garbage can. So I'm like, it's not a fucking garbage can.
Yeah.
Right? You would just pile them up to the ceiling if you could.
So wash them more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to wash dishes by hand. I don't use dishwasher. I don't know why.
That's good. It was in your blood.
What's that? Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. I don't dish. That's like OCD of mine, I guess. I just don't like dishes in the sink. So whenever I see them piling up, I know you're not going to do them, so I don't bother asking. You're better with putting water in them occasionally. It's like a 50-50.
No.
It's worse than that? I agree.
It's better.
What do you mean? It's better? Yeah. Okay. 60-40 max.
Well, I have one more, not to hit you with multiple shots, but this is like very interesting. I feel like you guys would be like, huh? She'll finish her meal and just leave her dirty dishes at the table and just go to the couch and mope. She just leave. How do you forget? You finish.
You don't forget. No.
You're lazy.
You don't forget. It's lazy, yeah.
No,
You just leave it there.
I'm going to start.
Explain myself.
Yeah.
I swear. I swear. It's not me being lazy. I'll finish a meal, and lately I've been tired, so I just finish my meal and I go like this, sit on my phone for like 45 minutes, and then I get up, so I forget that I even was eating. No?
I'm really trying. I'm trying, but no.
Listen, my mind, typically, like, when I do something, my mind's already on to the next thing, you know?
Okay.
And then, like, or it's even, like, 2 or 3 steps ahead, so sometimes I...
Remember about the dishes first and then go to the next thing, you know?
Yeah, we're working on it.
We've been working on it since we started with each other. But, alrighty.
What else? Anything else? Any other?
I'm done.
Okay. Okay, well, actually, let's pivot off of this. What do you like about your partner? Let's be positive.
You want to go first?
What do you like?
You go first. There's there's a lot to choose from. You're very helpful with most things, so I like to run things by you to try to stay more organized and prioritize things. I think in the past, at least business-wise, as I try to like really scale things now, it's more so. I used to let people get away with things, as you guys know, like whether it's coaching people for free or doing things for free for them, right? That at some point becomes like detrimental almost, you know? So you've been better with like, hey, like, you know, as we look over a client list, why isn't this person sending you a Venmo if they're running through a Venmo for whatever reason, which is why like I use like PayPal, reoccurring subscriptions or Stripes, things like that. So that's beneficial because you kind of put your foot down. It's just like, I don't want to hear your mouth. So like, let me address it, you know? As far as the house, since we're sitting in this lovely home, you are very good mind and taste for interior design. So something you should pursue, I feel like. But yeah, the house looks beautiful, not because of me, but just because I don't care. That's why, not because I couldn't do it.
You just don't have the time.
I just don't have the time. See, yeah. Thank you. So yeah, that's 2 things. We'll go from there.
What I love most, there is a long list, but without getting like sappy. You are an avid communicator, and up until meeting Kyle, I had always prided myself on that. I'm very like a no bullshit, like right to the point. And sometimes in order to get to my point, I like to have my A, B, C, D lined up. And with him, I feel as though like I'm understood. Whereas previous to that, trying to communicate to somebody who doesn't comprehend the way that I need my message to get across, it becomes very difficult. So Kyle is very good with navigating that. And contrary to that, I am stubborn to a fault. So there are times where I would rather just like, okay, like I don't want to talk about it. And he will sit there and pry it out of me, which at first was very difficult. But I think after some practice, it's become very helpful. So in my stubborn times, it's like he'll sit there and he stops at nothing to get it out. And then when it does come out, everything is well. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think a good thing about having like a partner, right? You want always your significant other in this day and age, whether it's a he and he, she and she, whatever. That other person should add value to your life. And as you grow up, and you guys are young now, right? Both of you, but aging quickly. If you think a couple of years ago, right? It goes fast. Your wants and needs and desires, your passions are all going to change tremendously. Who you are now is not who you'll be in 5 years. And communicating is very important, as we learn through experiences, right? Right or wrong, we make mistakes, we kind of learn from them, try not to repeat them. I think communication is important. So if you can establish that with a partner and they're adding value in other real respects, because I guess one thing, as I talk to a lot of clients, I get to know people on a personal level. I want to know what's going on, right? Like, hey, like, are you dating someone? Like, you're in a prep? Like, tell me what's going on, right? How can we make sure your schedule is not, like, conflicting? Because I know that's a big piece of your life, at least until you're 8 weeks out, and then nothing else matters with bodybuilding, but I know it does matter. It's always, like, important to just make sure that everyone's on the same page. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important thing, when it comes to having someone. So I've been lucky enough to find that, and you guys have been doing the part, it seems, right? So what about you guys?
I could start. So for me, what I like about Anthony the most is that he, like you said, like with Kyle, he's a very good communicator. And sometimes in arguments specifically, I can be stubborn and I can just shut down just because of things from my past that have caused me to do that, where I felt like in arguments I couldn't speak up, or I didn't have a voice or things like that. He allows me to communicate, and he forces me to communicate, even like when I don't want to. So maybe I'm not being extremely stubborn, but I just like can't get it out. He's gotten better, and he's adjusted to me at like giving me time to hear me out and to get through hard times, to give me maybe like an hour if I need time to decompress and things like that. And also, he pushes me to be uncomfortable, which is something that I've never experienced in my life before. Just like on a personal level, like he makes me a better person. Like I can confidently say that. He makes me a harder working person. I've always been pretty hardworking, but he definitely pushes me to go out there, to make friends, and to put myself out there, because over time, and again, from past things, like I have just like closed myself off to so much. And maybe I neglected self-care, or I neglected my appearance, or like the way that I look. But like now with him, I care about how I look, and he gives me the time to allow me to look nice, and to like gives me my space and all those things. So yeah, I value like a lot of like how you push me, you make me uncomfortable, you make me grow as a human, as a woman, as everything, which is cool because I've never experienced that before. And I am still young. So, but like from my experiences in the past, I feel like they took away from who I was as a person, but he like adds to it, and he accepts it, and he lets me be myself entirely. Cause I don't want to say I'm crazy. I'm not crazy in a bad way, but I'm crazy. Like I'm wild. I'm different. Like I'm like a little nuts, but I realized that he is like that too, and that's why we clicked so well, like from the beginning, was because we were both just so like odd people. And yeah, we also do share like the same hobbies and things like that, which is
be yourselves.
Cool. Yeah, I've always felt like I could be myself around him. And one of the craziest things, and I was talking about this with my friend recently, actually, with Hannah. I realized that I liked Anthony so much because I was able to fall asleep in front of him. I don't know if that's like
total comfort.
Yeah.
Because I'm like a super weirdo with stuff like that too.
Yes. Like where I feel like if I'm like uncomfortable around somebody, whether it's at a sleepover when I was younger or whatever it is, if I'm uncomfortable, like I will struggle to fall asleep. Yeah. And I'm not a girl that struggles to fall asleep. I could pass out. But in front of him, I always felt comfortable enough to fall asleep. And that sounds like something so simple, but it actually meant like a lot.
No, I get it.
The best for last, right? Here we go.
I'm curious to hear because
Allie. All right. So here we go. What I love about you is in a relationship, you can't be the same. You need opposites, right? A good male, a good female role here. And you're very good at the female role, which is what I need in my life. I'm a mama's boy. I will say that. And Allie provides that in a very good way for me to help me succeed and help me enjoy life. Like you were saying, things that you do within yourself, you take care of yourself, you care about self-care. You've been, what do I say? Like you've been so into your makeup, the hair, all these like cool things. And like, it's cool to see that. But primarily what I love about you is you help me become a better person and a better man, like the yin and yang type of thing. I'm not good explaining, but definitely I feel that like chemistry within us, that you have this womanhood to you, I have this manhood, and we, in a relationship, we help each other out. And that's awesome to have. And I don't have another relationship to really base this off of. I have very minor little hookups, but I never had any care or real connection to anyone prior, and I had that immediately with you. So it was something special from the start. Oh, and this is how I want to end it on the best note, is that we are both odd and similar, and we can hang out. Like you hang out with my best friends, and we have a blast. We enjoy the fun and going high mini golfing and taking Ubers home and shit like that. And it's fun going to the beach, tackling each other in the water. So
I think I think the cool thing for you guys, like you're very young. So as I was touching on earlier, as you grow, you're going to see change within each other. Right. So, as of now, I don't see anything that conflicts what I think you guys can be, but not that we're too old, right? But we've had other experiences, which is good in our sense because we know what we don't want. So immediately it was very easy to say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. I'm in an interesting position to where coaching isn't like a normal job, I guess you could say, right? Not that being an influencer is a normal job either, but on my sense, I interact with people that are younger. That's my niche. I prefer like trying to guide and mentor people, right? And then I also interact with females that are younger. So I've had problems in the past where it's not understood, right? So sometimes it's like, hey, I know, and anyone can speak for me to say, oh, he's a good guy, blah, blah, blah. But someone has to give me the opportunity, right? So finding someone to give you the opportunity to be yourself and take that shot, I think is what we look for. And like, you don't always find that the first time. So, and then being younger, I don't really know people that are your age that live together. So that's definitely challenging too. And that's a big step, right? So
Yeah.
for sure. So like, it's very unique where you guys are. That brings me to a question. So right now you guys are prepping together, right? At some point, depending on where your careers are and what needs to be, who's better and ready to step on a pro stage, you might not prep at the same time. That's going to add a little bit of perhaps turmoil, perhaps just a new experience and something to conquer, right?
Yeah.
So you've mastered the prepping together part, which I can't say. I've coached thousands of people and couples. I don't have many that do the same show together and at least are serious in terms of like, you both want to win, you both are actually good. I've coached people before where, one person's just, they're okay, the other one's really good and they get primarily the most time. And just for you guys, I always try to remind you that you're doing it together, but as you touched on, you're doing it separate. Like, do what's best for you. Don't, it is what it is. Blame it on me, but you have to do this today. You have to do this today. It's worked to where I can try to have you guys kind of have those date nights together, the burgers and whatnot, but it doesn't always happen. So that's the main thing. What did you say?
Well, okay.
I said you hear that with the food. You do this today. You do this today. You don't always get the same food.
No, and I've come to understood that, right? Like there was this weekend was a different story, and I'll touch on that really quick in a second. But like towards the beginning of prep, when we started getting refeeds, right? I had to like literally sit there and just accept that Anthony can go out and eat a burger with his friends, and I need to sit home and eat ground beef. Which, yeah, like when you sit down and think about it, like that sucks, right? Like it's just, I don't want to say it's dehumanizing, but like to a degree it kind of is. That's where bodybuilding becomes dehumanizing because, wow, I can't go out and have fun. Could I have gone? Sure. Do I want to put myself through that? No, right? Like after I've been dieting, like realistically, no, I don't need to go. I can stay home. but it does suck, and like you just have to understand that. This past weekend, I did make a comment to Anthony when I was sick, and I was like, damn, if you got a burger today, I like low-key would have been upset. Because, reason being is, I didn't want to get sick. It sucks. This is the third time this prep that I've gotten sick. Okay, so that in itself sucks. And then I also get rest day diet, lower food. Sure, I got more fruit, but I was like, this could have been a refeed day for me if I weren't effing sick, you know? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. I think I was looking good enough. But anyway, so yeah, touching on your question about prepping together versus not together. So yeah, we've gotten like down pat prepping together. We've gotten to a point where we can focus on ourselves. And I was talking about that earlier. Like we have our own schedule, and it is what it is. And I've learned to like embrace those moments that I can with him. He's very present in himself throughout prep, which is totally fine. I can balance between both me and him. That's just me. I don't have like this, and there's obviously hormone differences here going on. So I feel like I always maintain like myself, my bubbly self, versus he starts to shut down. He gets quiet. He gets tired. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to be by himself. That's fair. Yeah, he literally is zen, and that's fine. And I like fully acknowledge that this prep could be our very last together, or our last for a long time, because we're in completely separate divisions. I'm in bikini, where honestly it gets to a point where you can't put on more size, and you just have to fine tune, and you need to look the part. So he wants to take 3 years off. I might not need 3 years off. Like, I just need to fine tune. So I've fully understood that. And also it comes to a point where like, yeah, when you're a pro, you're going to pick the shows that are best for you. And those shows vary on division heavily versus like a national show is a national show, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's also some shows that are just bikini. You know?
That's true. There's some shows. Yeah.
So then I have a thing to piggyback, because I already provided my advice before. What piece of advice would you give them, not only as a coach, but as a friend, as someone they look up to, as far as what their future holds?
I'm not their friend anymore.
Assuming we look up to Kyle. I'm kidding. That was rough.
They don't. No, well, I guess like I said, I try to cut emotions off, right? I think sometimes that's the best to get the job done, to where when you're too friendly, it's like you care too much about like emotions outside of things. Like at the end of the day, you guys don't fight with each other, but like in situations like that, I don't give a shit. Like that's not going to change what I'm going to do. I'm not going to spend more time. But I guess going back to your question, so just so I understand the question, what advice do I have for them continuing prep? Like
individually, like as individual competitors, and then together, like how to a piece of advice moving forward, like for their relationship and for just the two of them alone.
So I think you just have to realize that bodybuilding is very short-lived. It's a chapter in your book. Eventually, at one point, you're going to put the pen down. Hopefully, it's when you decide, not because of other reasons, right? And by that, it could be, you could have a kid, right? That could change things substantially. Health-related reasons, injuries, right? All of these things happen at the spur of a moment. They change your life. They're moments of impact, right? You don't know when they're coming. When they come, what do? Having each other is the one thing you always have to remember in the back of your mind. So that doesn't have to be your why, but I think it should be a driving force moving forward of when you're doing things, you are impacting the person you're with, right? Certain days suck, right? You're going to go through highs and lows. If there are other factors in play, yes, it can play with emotions, right? Pressure, especially going to this show. This is a competitive show. We have a lot on the line, and I'm right there with you. So like I said, it's just like, if we don't win, we don't win. It's kind of sad all around. It's not the storybook ending, but it doesn't defy anything either. So yes, you both win. I always say, like, you still go to work Monday. Nothing changes, right? It really doesn't. You're going to go try to grow or try to improve, next show, whatever it may be. So my best advice is just to do the best you can. That way you look back and say, hey, I did the very best I can. If you don't win, I lost someone that's really good. They deserve to win. And it's just not my time. And that's just how it is, right? And that's my best advice when it comes to bodybuilding. As cool as it is, like, doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, because you have a lot more in life that's going. And I will tie that into something we have new going on in your life, right? It seems like you have made a new decision with a supplement company, and I think that's something that is very important, because again, that goes well beyond just this show. It goes for hopefully the rest of your career, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, thank you for getting the eggs out of the basket. I don't know what the right saying is there. That's what came to mind. Cats out of the bag, yeah. But yeah, after a long time of no longer, working with a supplement company, I took about a little bit over a year and a half of not working with a company to honestly just try to find the one that fits me best. And then today I made the decision. I signed a contract with the company that fits me best. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. That company is Huge Supplements. I spoke to, honestly, like 5 or 6 different companies that reached out to me that I knew weren't a good fit right away. I honestly didn't even entertain it, but it was nice for them to reach out. Spoke to some companies on the phone, tried some of the products of companies. And then with my direction of, bodybuilding, what I value within supplements, the supplements I personally take, Huge was my best pick. So I'm really excited for that, what's to come. And yeah, thanks for mentioning it, Kyle, because you can use code ANN on Huge. For 10% off.
As soon as you hear this.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
And that's one thing that I don't think I wanted to say before, is that one thing, like you're talking about growing, right? Like you'll see your partner grow as a person. And Anthony's younger than me. I'm 23. I still have growing to do myself. But anyway, he's younger. He's 21, about to turn 22 in like a week and a half. What?
10 days.
Yeah, a week and a half. So it's been really cool to see, and I tell him all the time that I'm so proud of him, whether he hears it or not, because sometimes he's too tired to hear. But
Thank you.
I'm very proud of him because he's like, I truly like see it in him now that he's so driven and he's working really hard and he has these goals. That's not just bodybuilding, because you were saying bodybuilding is not going to be there forever. And I always had like an understanding of that, just because my main goal in life is to be a mom and to have a family. So that's just something I've known since I was like a teenager, and I'm aware that bodybuilding is like just this point in my life. I do want to compete again though when I'm a mom, because I want to prove to myself that I can do it no matter what. But that's besides the point. But I'm very proud of his growth and seeing him grow, and it like makes me happy as his partner, and it makes me proud to be his partner, to see how much he is growing mentally. Like maybe not everybody's fully seeing it online, or maybe friends and family around aren't fully seeing it, but like I am fully seeing it every day, and I'm very proud of him for his growth. So yeah.
Thanks, babe. Want a kiss on cam? No, too much. Bro, how fucking hot is it in your house?
so
It's hot.
It is so hot.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Holy
sweating.
Shit, she's sweating through her armpits.
Whew. All right. I think this was a great episode, guys. Honestly, to the girlfriends. Right? That's still only your label, girlfriend.
That's crazy. You just said that. That's crazy.
Just wanted to say thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in, joining us back on the Iron Bros podcast. We will see when the next episode is, as I believe things are going to be cranking soon. I hope my energy doesn't drop off immediately. So if it doesn't, I'd definitely love to get another one out before the next show. We will.
I hope so.
I mean, I don't know how.
Make sure we do.
Yeah. But thank you guys for tuning in. You can. You want to say this part?
Yeah. You
Go
can
ahead.
support Anthony and I and Grant as well. Our codes for Young LA. We have code Grant behind the camera, Ant, and code Sir. As always, appreciate you tuning in, and see you soon.
Toodaloo.